Hey guys, welcome to Massive Iron Live. I got some dog hair, some cooties up here. We're starting off all messed up. But hey guys, welcome to Massive Iron Live. It is Friday, June 16th. Let's go. Let's go. It's been a good week of lifting for me. I hope it's been a good week of lifting for you. I've been really back in the groove the last month, training back to my normal self, and things have been going really well. I've been doing leg day on Monday, chest on Tuesday, back on Wednesday. And I got to readjust my schedule a little bit because come Thursday, I've been a little bit tired. And on Friday, I do live. So got to kind of readjust my schedule. Training's been going well. Let me know how training is going for you guys, what program you're using. I got the 3 dogs in here, so hopefully they won't go crazy. But I want to welcome you guys to Massive Iron Live. This is the longest running live podcast Q&A thing in the history of planet Earth. Literally, probably. I don't know anybody that does a live. You tell me, is it the longest running lifting live Q&A, lifting live podcast in the history of the Earth? I think so. I don't think they had it going on back in 1900. And look, I appreciate each and every one of you. Post your questions up. If you're new, post your questions up. I'm here to help you guys. I appreciate everybody's support on this channel. Answering questions is what I do for a living. Over on Instagram, I'm not doing this. I'm running Instagram Q&As. And I got one going on right now. So at Ben the Barman, you can slide over to my DM on Instagram. Now, if you guys are, let me get the ceiling fan going on. If you guys are new here, please don't be shy about posting questions. Post whatever you want, diet, training, nutrition, off topic. Just keep it reasonable. Classy, stay classy, people. So what's going on with you guys? Doing anything, for any fathers doing anything good for Father's Day? I'm going to see the WWE this weekend for the first time. I don't really follow the WWE, but it's in town. Nothing else going on. We just scored like 8th row tickets for like $120 a piece. So we're going to go see that. My wife is really excited, right? So why not? We're going to go do that Saturday night for Father's Day. So anyway, before we get started, just a couple housekeeping things. If the fan is too loud, let me know. I don't know if it picks up on the mic. Please follow me on Instagram, @BenTheBarman. Snoopy, what you doing by the door? Snoopy, I know you can hear me. Playing with that boinger thing. Follow me on Instagram, @BenTheBarman. I do Q&As over there like every other day. Snoopy, I can see you chewing on that. Yeah, so I do Q&As over on Instagram or the other week. You can even do form checks. Beyond that, guys, speaking of form checks, I want you to check out TeamMassiveIron.com. TeamMassiveIron.com. Team Massive Iron is a private community, and we'll get done with the commercial real soon here. TeamMassiveIron.com is a private community. It's like a Facebook group on steroids, literally. We have topics of the day. We have different boards. Today is Flex Friday, where people post their best lifts and their flexi photos, right, with their big juicy pumps. And we have a topic of the day. People can post 4 form videos a day. It's like micro coaching. You can ask me questions. I'll help you as much as you need help. And the cost for Team Massive Iron is only $4.99 a month, or a one-time fee. Gets you in for lifetime. Super cheap, cheaper than Hulu, which you don't watch anyway. Cheaper than Vudu. Cheaper than MGM Plus, Paramount Plus, ESPN Plus. Right? Plus you're getting swole. So screw all that stuff and check out TeamMassiveIron.com. We got a really good community. And shout out to all the Team Massive members that always support the live. I appreciate each and every one of you. One more thing before we go. My website, superlivingtoday.com. Right here, superlivingtoday.com. You need a workout, go check out the workouts tab. It's like a buffet of great workouts. Everything you could need in that workouts tab. And coaching, I took on 2 new clients yesterday. I had 3 openings. This is the kind of year where things get a little bit slow, around summer. So I'm pretty full. I stay pretty full, but I do have 1 opening left. If you're interested in coaching, check out the coaching tab over at my website, Super Living Today. There's also on Instagram. If you check the profile, you can apply. And I'm with you 5 days a week. We set up a time to talk on the phone. We develop a custom plan of attack. I'm with you every single day, coming through your workouts, coming through your form, coming through your nutrition. I have guys just absolutely killing it. And I try to post up their results on Instagram. So coaching is what I do for a living. I'm not a part-time coach. I don't play a coach on YouTube. I'm not just trying to, do the part-time coaching stuff. I love coaching. I love helping people. I've coached powerlifting. I've coached bodybuilders. I've coached Special Olympics powerlifting. I've coached teens, people with all kinds of injuries, blind, low cognitive, very low cognitive function. You name it, I've coached everyone. So whatever your situation is, whatever your goals, whatever your case, I'm here to help. All right, enough commercial. Let's get all this hoo-ha. It's okay, Snoopy. Let's get all the hoo-ha off. All right. So just a reminder, before we get rolling, sexy people, if you post a question before live starts, you get a chance to win a free t-shirt, hoodie, Massive Iron gym bag, Massive Iron whey, Massive Iron creatine. Over at my website, superlivingtoday.com, I have whey and creatine. These are quality products. If you want to put $5 in my pocket rather than one of the big name brands, my salty caramel whey protein is great. I use it myself. Creatine's creatine, quality creatine. And if you're tired of the supplement industry and their lies and their hatred and their bullshit and their crap, and you want to support anybody other than the false claim people, content producers like myself, appreciate it. So let's get rolling, sexy people. Let's get rolling. Paladin first. Paladin is first. Paladin's from Team Massive. I got my ass out of bed at 6:40 and you want to know what Team Massive is like? I was critiquing Paladin's lat pull downs at 6:40 a.m. I'm up at 6:40 a.m. like Rocky Balboa chasing chickens around the backyard, but my chickens are form videos. That's what I'm doing because I love doing this stuff. What's your take? What's the best body fat range to do well, there are really no best, but we want to be reasonable, right? We really probably don't want to go above 22, 24%, worst case scenario. If you get above 220 pounds, 230 pounds, and this is just a generic range, you're getting a little bit into the unhealthy zone, not a little bit. So usually if you're below that, whatever body fat percentage you prefer, you can do the 10-pound bulks and cuts. I just would kind of be very careful doing it over 225, 230. Then you just, you're kind of, some guys like being bigger. I get it. I don't have anything against, I'm a bigger guy. I'm just saying caveats. Just be careful with your health. Big Tim, how's it going, Tim? From Team Massive. Tim is always killing it. What would you say is a difference between someone signing up for Team Massive versus coaching? Team Massive, you get to do whatever you want. You get up to 4 form checks. I don't monitor you on Team Massive. I answer your questions and do your form checks. So I don't force myself on Team Massive. I don't unless you ask me to critique your workout, I leave you alone, right, to do your thing. I'm not going to try to bully your workout into you running something. Like you can run Ronnie Coleman's workout on Team Massive. That's more of a community with me helping you if and when you want help, right? So There's a lot of guys that don't post questions, that just partake in the community. That's fine. I mean, it is a good community. And if you're sick and tired of things like Facebook, or you get tired of going over to Twitter, Twatter, Tweeter, Tutor, and hearing all the political stuff, come to Team Massive. We don't do political. We don't do, religious stuff. We don't do trolling. So it's a community, and it's not just a safe haven, but it is a place where we can focus on what we love, lifting and nutrition, and get some micro coaching if you want. Coaching, we talk on the phone. I build you a workout. We are together 5 days a week. I check in every day. It's not a back and forth ongoing texting conversation, but I check in 5 days a week, as opposed to the other coaches that check in only 1 day a week. And nothing against them, but I don't play coach. And honestly, I couldn't coach like that. I need to get to know my people. I need to get to know their rhythms and patterns and habits. I can't coach somebody checking in 1 day a week. And you know what? You want my honest opinion? I don't think it's a good way to coach. I think it's not coaching at all, really. I mean, some people can do it, and you can fight me over it if you want, but I think it's giving somebody a workout and reviewing it, reviewing what they did. And yeah, you can coach, I guess. I'm more, that's just not my style of coaching. Every single day, my guys I'll ask them for form videos because I want to see lifts. I look at their workouts every single day, and it's just a matrices of numbers. Anybody that's worked with me knows that. Like, I'm not going to over analyze every workout, but I'm going to slowly turn over stones. Like, hey, I see lat pull downs was a 6 on your last set. If I see that, I'll say, looking a little bit heavy. How's it feeling? I'm trying to feel out my guys. Can I get a video on that? I want to see if they're cheating or if they're getting a lot out of it. So with my guys, I'm slowly turning over stones every single day. And it's more of that type of process. I don't want to take up a lot of people's time every single day. But when they are a coaching client, I look at their work, I look at their form, I look at their nutrition, I look at their weight, and I make sure they're on track. And if I see anything unusual, come here, guys. Come here. If I see anything unusual, then I kind of ask them questions. So coaching is vastly different from Team Massive. Tim's asking about chasing weight on the bar, overemphasizing. I don't see overemphasizing form on lifts, to be honest with you. I don't see that taking place. I focus on control. So I don't see that taking place. I don't know the discussion, to be honest with you. Sandro, Team Massive. I was going Assassin from Team Massive. My question, how are you so sexy? I don't know. I have to credit my mom. All credit to mom, right? Barbell Bryce, how's it going? Why do you feel like the common thing now is you must train in phases if you have multiple goals? I don't know. Strength phases, hypertrophy, that's been going on forever, man. For the average lifter, this is just nonsense. It's just nonsense. It's nonsense. You guys can do the type of training I teach, the power building style, this is how training is for hypertrophy, right? You can get incredibly strong without ever having to worry about strength phases. Strength phases can be fine if you build your bench up to 340 and you need to do a peak with lower rep sets, or you need to incorporate some lower rep work. That's fine. That's a very specific goal if you're trying to get your bench up from like 340 to 370. But I think a lot of it is just like everything else on social media. We got to create something overly complex just to make it look like we created something fresh and new. And I'm never going to do that for you guys. Do I put together different workouts? Yeah. But they're basically, bread and butter stuff. There are different ways of doing the same thing. And that's a good thing, right? We have torso limb split. We have upper posterior. takes on the upper lower split. Options are a good thing, but what I talked about this week in my video about modern lifting as a dumpster fire, it is a dumpster fire. And this is more dumpster fire, material. It's just getting people like, if don't get me wrong, you can run anything and get something out of it. But it's when we continue to heap all this stuff on guys that have mediocre results and they simply want better results. And all of a sudden, they think they have to do multiple phases and strength phases and hypertrophy phases and specialization phases and RIR and RPE phases and all this percentage-based horse shit. It's nonsense, because this stuff can work when applied properly. But really, none of it has value until you're late intermediate stage, and you've developed a track record of results, and you understand what hard work is. This stuff has no value for guys in the trenches struggling. None at all. And you know what? 98% of you are in that pool. 98% of you are not satisfied with your results, and you just want to find a way to get them up to speed. That is what I am all about. Can I teach advanced lifters? Can I teach more advanced lifters? Sure. I'm not going to teach Ed Cohen anything, right? I'm not going to teach Ronnie Coleman anything. But guys that are tending more advanced, that are still a little bit green on the advanced side, that need some guidance or need some focus or need to gain some experience with some other things like periodization or, training their central nervous system or things like that. But you know what? This whole industry, let me just mute Team Massive here. I keep getting the pop-up sounds. This stuff is like a muse. It pulls you in, it sings a sweet song, and it distracts you while it steals your money. That's all it is. Again, anything can have value, but you get, for the 98% of you that are struggling, if you want to play around with this stuff, great, but we need to focus on hard training. Watch my video this week on modern training is a dumpster fire. Modern lifting is a dumpster fire. It is a dumpster fire. And you know what? I'm just going to say this, and you can do with it what you want. Most of these people that are spewing this stuff, they don't coach people for a living. It's a whole different world. That's why I don't like strong lifts. And that's why the people that fight me back on strong lifts, they don't understand the context. In the coaching world, you have people tearing up their lower backs because we take a bunch of novices and beginners and weak individuals and guys that are struggling, and we just hammer the living shit out of their lower back with squats and deads and RDLs and barbell rows and dumbbell rows and all kinds of other things. And then you get programs like strong lifts that remove the lifts that are really going to be impactful for guys that are starting up, like dumbbells and machines. We just kind of dismiss them, and we move straight to the cult of barbell, right? And then we squat 3 times a week, and then we deadlift once a week, and everything we're doing is squats and deadlifts. It's tearing up your lower back. There's a huge learning curve on form, and people are getting shitty results. And this is I'm not bashing on Mady or whatever his name is from Strong Lifts, but I'm being real with you guys. And you can hate me if you want, but he does not coach in the real world. And this program is something he pulled out of his ass based on his own research and what he liked to do and what sounds good. But when you coach real people in the real world, you can't coach them like that. They're not going to get good results. And what I do with all my clients, half of what we do is trying to dial in squats and deadlifts because they're the hardest lifts to learn. They're the most brutal lifts. And guys like Mady and Strong Lifts don't understand that because they don't coach in the real world. And you can consider that hate or bashing or whatever, but it's the truth. I'm not bashing on him by saying he doesn't coach in the real world, but you guys need to understand that just because somebody can put together a workout doesn't mean it's optimal for you guys. So whether you think I'm crazy, a lunatic, a fool, a good coach, a bad coach, or whatever, always understand that we need to comb through everything. And instead of just attaching our mouths to someone's teat because it looks like a cool program, and I like the program, I like it, right? Let's think through things. We have to be smart. We have to be wise. Minimalism is not good. And my point here in this ramble was that anybody can put together a workout. And when people don't have the basis of coaching in the real world, or lifters that come to it and they buy in, that's okay. You're buying into a workout. If it works for you, great. But they don't have that extra dimension, that extra perspective, that there might be a few things missing. So when we're doing all this stuff, putting all this stuff together, like let's do a strength phase and a hypertrophy phase and all this kind of stuff. And you know what? The bottom line is, until you guys understand how to train hard and nail all the stuff I talked about in my Modern Lifting as a Dumpster Fire video, none of this stuff's going to do anything for you. And I'm telling you that because I care. Because I want to return people to the foundations. Fuck. I know it triggers people when I swear, and I try not to swear too much, but fuck optimization, right? We need to get back to equipping lifters for success. Big Bob Fish, how do I get over my irrational fear of cardio killing my gains? Because it is irrational, and you admit it. Cardio doesn't kill gains, Bob. It's a lie. How many professional athletes lift and look amazing? MMA fighters, football players, whatever, rugby players. The body's not that fragile. The body is not a fragile piece of glass. It's a lie. Bodybuilding, just like anything can be cancerous, and bodybuilding has its cancerous concepts. When you talk about cardio, and I hate the word cardio because it's juvenile, right? To me, it's juvenile. Movement for health. Let's get back to health. Cardio is like walking on a treadmill for 20 minutes. Come on, we're just getting our step count up. That's good. But like, how is it going to kill your gains? It's just nonsense. How would you program it? Just, Bob, I care. Don't overthink this stuff. I don't know what you're doing. I hate the word cardio. I like the word movement. What are you doing for movement? Do what you love. Just don't let it impact your resistance training. Has to be the cornerstone. That's the big one for health. Being strong. Strong bones, strong muscle, strong heart. Being functionally strong. That's A1. A2 is keeping your weight reasonable. Not abusing yourself with food. You want to be strong. You want to be virile. You don't want to be a tub of fat goo with all kinds of fat around your heart, your internal organs. You want to take care of yourself with nutrition, and you want to do resistance training, and you want to get your movement up. There was some research, and I did an article like this, and I talked about it on Massive Iron, where they showed athletes that sit a lot are impacted. their health is impacted. So even if you're an athlete, like a lifter, if you sit a lot, there's been research, and you guys can find this out for yourself, that shows that sitting, regardless of who you are, is bad for your health. There's nothing worse than the lifter who doesn't want to move outside of lifting. It's not good for health. The body is not that fragile. You're not going to lose gains or slow gains. The reality is you're going to lose gains or slow gains training like a piece of crap. If you train right, nail your nutrition, you're going to be fine. And the only thing I can say, Bob, is get over it. It's a lie. If your gains are slow, Bob, it's not the cardio, my friend. I don't know how you train, so I'm just pulling that out of my butthole. Stein, happy Friday. Stein, how's it going? Yvonne, good morning, everyone. I will have to miss live. Not acceptable. But thank you. Hope you have a good weekend. Adams family, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Dumbbells and donuts. How would you tailor your advice to a new lifter who starts in the 30? Nothing. I did my hardest training in my 40s. There's nothing special other than you've been sitting on your ass for a while. You need to ease into it like everybody else. But I don't care what your age is. I mean, everybody, no matter where they are, they have to tailor things to injury history and limitations and stuff like that. But I am training as hard now at age 55 as I was at, 29. I'm going to say this politely, and I'm going to swear, and bear with me, but fuck your age. Stop being a little baby. Work around your injuries. Do what you can do. Focus on, I tailor everything the same to anybody. I focus on what they can do. I'm not reckless when I screen a client. I'm not like, screw you for being 52. I listen to injury history, and I listen to things that are people pick up things as they age. That's normal. The body breaks down over time. Something breaks down for everybody. I'm certainly not a well-oiled machine in every aspect, but I'm still crushing it. And that's more mental than it is physical. So I don't care about somebody's age. I got Troy, age 55, who I posted on Instagram, who trains harder than I do right now. Troy trains harder than anybody else I know. He's age 55. You think Troy doesn't have injuries? Troy has all kinds of issues we're dealing with. Do you think I can sit and hold Troy's hand and walk him into the poor boo-boo corner? No, because I care about Troy. And Troy's serious about his goals, and he's 55. And I don't care if you're 55, 45, 47, 37. I don't give a fuck about your age. If you want to achieve your goals, you're going to have to do something hard. And what we're going to have to do is focus on doing those hard things in the areas you can do the hard things. But that's like any lifter. I've worked with Special Olympians, blind. I've worked with the deaf. I've worked with Special Olympians that have very minimal cognitive function. I've worked with Special Olympians that have had endless hip surgeries and issues. And we work together and we do what we can. I never push anybody into huge amounts of volume. And I never push anybody into a world of pain when they're not ready for it. I start everybody in a place of reasonable moderation. This is kind of a reasonable degree of what we need to do to get to where we want to go. And then day in and day out, we assess how things are going, what they like, what they don't like, what they can handle, what hurts. And then we adapt. This is the same whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, or 60. Does that make sense? So it's not about age, it's about adaptation. What's taking place in the gym? What do we need to change? What are the limitations? We focus on what we can control, and what we can do, we do hard. All right, Adams family. I'm struggling to progress on bent over rows. I'm gaining mass in my upper back, but I can't see any improvement. I would need to know some more. I'd like to look at form, but when somebody tells me they're struggling, here's the major concern I have is that they're making progress, but they have unreasonable expectations. And I'm not saying that's the case for you because I don't know, but I'm telling you, this is always my first concern. If you say have a Pendley row of 190 for 5, which is reasonably decent. If you add 1 rep a month, it seems tediously slow and struggling to make progress. But every rep you add on a top set adds 5 pounds to your 1 rep max. If you don't believe me, get a 1 rep max calculator. In fact, let's pull it up right now. 1 rep max, 1 rep max calculator. I'm going to pull it up. They changed the calculator a little bit. Let me pull things up a little bit here. Share screen, present, share screen. All right. Can you guys see that? Oh, we got a big Best Buy ad. Thank you. Let me see if I can shrink this down a little bit. Okay, so who cares what his age is? Whatever. Who cares what his body weight is? I don't want to calculate my relative strength. Okay, here we go. So let's say your Pendley row is 190. Whoa, 190 for 5. Let's look at some things here a minute. Your approximate 1 rep max is 213.8. So you add 1 stinking rep a month. Oh my goodness. Your 1 rep max nearly went up 7 pounds. You add 1 rep a month on your Pendley row, and you're going to be going from like 193 to 300 in a year. How many people you know do a 300-pound Pendley row? Okay, so let's start with here. Theoretically, we had 1 rep a month, okay? We start out January 1st. We're at 190 for 5. And let me just remove this so we can see it a little bit better. So, get rid of these stinking ads. We're going to add a rep a month. So we're going to add 12. We're going to go to 17. And this is just a rough thing. So we start at 213.8. Whoa, we're up to 297. We're at 84 pounds in a year to our Pendley row, and it's near 300. So the point here is like when I see things like I'm struggling to progress, we have to understand that we have to look at the data. Is it actually progressing? What's the projections? Where is it going? Adding 1 rep a month or 1 rep every 5 weeks is a glorious thing once you're late beginner, intermediate, early intermediate. Because if you just stay in the trenches, you're going to get strong, and it's going to continue to slow, but you have to play the long game. And you better be nailing your nutrition. And I'm not saying this to you, Adams family. I'm saying this to anybody because I care. If anybody is whining about their progress, whining about their results, and they aren't crushing nutrition, they don't have a leg to stand on. If you are not taking your nutrition seriously and you are mentally beating yourself up about progress, you are your own worst enemy. You don't have any reason to complain. Because if you do not take nutrition seriously, you're not taking your lifting seriously. You cannot expect to move up on your lifts if you're not taking your nutrition seriously. Ron, did you run out of equipment? No. We sold out on the incline benches, but I still have other stuff left. You can find that at themassivefitness.com. Big Chef, what's going on? Happy Friday. How's the running going? Not bad. My knee's up to full speed. Not running as often as I would like, but the good thing is my lifting is up to speed, and that's making me happy. It's been a long time since I put lifting as a priority over running, and I'm going to be honest with you, I still like running, but right now lifting is my main priority again. And I'm still going out and knocking out 75 minutes when I want to. But, right now my priority is on getting shredded. I'm not really getting shredded. I want to get down to 210. And man, I just love. I want to put lifting back as a cornerstone of running. So I've been losing weight. I'm not going to show people like, why don't you show your physique? Right? Why don't you do shirtless pictures? I'm building a home. I'm not Donald Trump here, so don't get excited. Right? Just a middle-class home. And we're going to have I'm going to have a basement gym all decked out with all the stuff. Just the perfect home gym. Right? And that's going to be done in about 160 days. And I'm going to be doing more filming videos, like workout videos and filming videos. And I'm trying to get in my best shape for them. And I'm not doing a reveal of the until we get there, right? Just a little humor. Hope you guys don't mind the humor. MCM, do you see any value in making 2 to 3 second pauses? No. Not really. It's more about like if you can hold a pause at the top of your shrug, you're probably not using enough weight. The traps can really take a beating. I'm not saying you can't do that, but you need some form of traps training where you are slapping them plates on and you are challenging that, and your arms want to rip out of your sockets and you're fighting it. And then if you want to do some drop sets, but it's more about time under tension, time under stress on a shrug than anything. And I hate to use time under tension because it's an overplayed concept, but there are some movement patterns where we have to think about time under tension. Time under stress, time under load. A calf raise has a very limited range of motion. A shrug has a very limited range of motion. So when we're not under you can do a 10-second, 10 rep set of shrugs. And that bothers me because I want more cumulative stress. And I think one of the issues with traps and calf training in general is that we don't use enough cumulative stress. Does that make sense? Big Tim. Hot take. Bodybuilding enthusiasts often over dramatize the muscle building cutting processes and make it seem more arduous and grueling than it really is. Yeah, in many cases, you're correct, sir. Like if you're cutting for a show, that gets pretty intense. That takes a lot of focus. That takes unwavering because you have a deadline. And you need to keep peeling back and peeling back. The guys that I have coached for a bodybuilding show, the last 2-3 weeks, I wouldn't want to do it. I don't think those guys are over dramatizing things. It's a tough road. But like a 10-pound cut, get over it. Like everybody's different, right? Your first 10-pound cut's going to be more challenging. I get it. But like if this is like your 4th or 5th 10-pound cut. Big John, what's going on, John? Big Hairy Ugly Dude, on your modified fasting method, how much protein and grams of carbs before a workout, 1 hour after wake up? If you're going to work out an hour, I get this question a lot. If you're going to work out an hour after getting up, the first thing you need to do when you get up is have a little bit of sodium and slam 8 to 10 ounces of water. We're at our low point water-wise first thing in the morning, so we need to immediately get water in our system. And we have an hour before we work out. We don't want to overflood the system. But we also need sodium. Sodium is an electrolyte. It is an electrolyte that impacts your energy levels. And one thing I found on trail running, endurance running for long periods of time, more than any other electrolyte, when my sodium gets low or by intaking sodium, I feel a lot better. So there's no downside with putting a few sprinkles of sodium in your water or eating something a little bit salty in the morning. Am I going to eat protein? You could have a protein shake straight out of bed instead of the water. Carbs, you can get something like Honey Stingers. They have the chewies, like the 120 calorie chewies. If you're going to take carbs, you want them fast digesting. Even fruit has fiber and stuff in it, and it digests more slowly than fast digesting carbs. So you probably want something a little bit more quick, but you don't want to walk in your workout bloated, because then that food just sits in your stomach and there's no point in having it. So you want something easy to digest. Oh, sorry, I had to get that out of my system. I got up early and was working early today, and I don't know where that came from. We're drive on, though. Dumbbells and Donuts. Who are some natty lifters on YouTube that you respect? GVS and Alpha Destiny. Those are the guys I watch. I don't mean any disrespect to anybody else. I don't. I just don't have time to keep up. I start to lose sensation in my hands later in the sets of Smith squats. What is causing this hard work? How can I manage it? Don't worry about this stuff, guys. You're working hard. Something's gonna do something. This is not going to cause a critical injury. It's stress and strain, and that's part of the process, guys. Do you have to do death grips on Smith squats? No. Maybe you need to widen your grip a little bit so you're not putting stress on your joints. But what's causing it? Hard work. How can I manage it? Why do you need to? What damage is it doing? I'm not trying to be hard, Tim, but I'm just saying, you work hard, something's going to fall off. Something's going to be stressed. You're going to get an exertion headache, or you're going to get an unusual tweak in your right gonad, something. Right? This is all part of the process. I woke up on yesterday after 3 days in a row of hard training and a really hard back day, and my elbows were inflamed. One thing I've learned is that's part of lifting. If you expect to wake up the next day or during your workout and work hard and have everything feel like holding hands with a fairy and prancing through the meadows, the flower-strewn meadows, whatever you want to call it. If that's what you think training is going to be like, and I'm not saying you, Tim, I'm just saying anybody, you're delusional. Like, I woke up yesterday and felt rough. But a couple hours later, the inflammation was gone. So get over it. Nothing's wrong. It's called hard work. Matrix, Marnix, sorry. Marnix, you were the one that triggered the storm rant. And I put that over anybody curious. on my other channel. I put that rant on my other channel. I do have a second channel. I'm not like super posting on it, but it's called, let me find it, Big Hairy Ugly Clips. Big Hairy Ugly Clips. And let's see, I'll bring it up. Screen share, Big Hairy Ugly Clips. Right? So let me get rid of that. Big Hairy Ugly Clips. You can see 422 views on that. So I do have that extra channel. I actually have somebody, an assistant, that's going to be porting some of the best questions from these lives over to that channel. So there's a lot of good things that happen during the live, and we're going to start porting over the best clips. How can we run the Power Muscle Bulldozer on 2 days per week only? You probably need a custom job. Probably need a custom workout. That's you can do it 2 days a week, but to do so, you're probably going to need. Let me just see if I can adjust it. But you're probably going to need, somebody that knows what they're doing to put together a custom 2-dayer. So I'd be happy to do, I'd be happy to guide you, but, consider joining TeamMassiveIron.com. I'm not going to build workouts for free. I wish I had that time. But if you want to build it, I can tell you what's good and what's bad. Did that just mess up the lighting? I had to raise my head a little bit higher. It's kind of bright today. Just fucking around. Excuse me. Howie, will the Boost Camp program be free? I talked to the Boost Camp people a couple of weeks ago and about putting together a program, and I'm not going to be charging for it. I don't get anything for it, so I don't believe they make any money off of it either. Rico, what's going on? Need that Massive Iron coffee. Need that Massive Iron coffee. Let me check something for you. I got the Massive Iron coffee mug. But that's really it. We got the Massive Iron coffee mug over at Super Living today if you need it. Jonathan, Big J, Big Jonathan, Big John. Good morning, Steve. How's it going? Any new T-shirts planned? We need some Fighting Through Storm ones. Yeah, I saw it earlier, and I need to get a concept. What it should look like. So if I can come up with that, or if you guys have any ideas, you can send it to me. I'm a dad. What's your superpower? Good morning, Massive Mammals. Upper B, get after it, make it count. Rear delts, why are they a shoulder muscle if they seem to be worked by more rowing movements and pressing movements? Well, I want you to kind of think movement patterns rather than like horizontal push, horizontal pull, or row. Vertical push, vertical pull. There's all kinds of muscles involved in each one. So the shoulder doesn't just do press, right? It's involved with arm action. Does that make sense? So I think we got to move away from the idea that a shoulder is a press. Shoulder is back, up, down. The connection point between the arms and the torso. So does that make sense? With just barbells and dumbbells and a cable, you can do a lot with that. That's about all you really need to get in trouble. What do you recommend for rear delt? You can do bent over flies. You can do rear delt swings, which I do a lot. You can do behind the back shrugs. If you pull that bar over your gluteus maximus, I feel my rear delts torched on behind the back shrugs. We say shrugs, we think traps. But you do behind the back shrugs and you pull that bar over your big juicy booty, I can feel my rear delts working like nothing else. Try that sometime for high reps and see if you survive. Andrew, I'm gonna let Andrew win this week because we're running out of time. And Andrew, you're the winner. You can hit me up on Instagram at Ben the Barman, at Ben the Barman. Slide into my DM for your prize, or email me benthebarman@gmail.com. You get a free Massive Iron t-shirt, Massive Iron hoodie, Massive Iron weigh, Massive Iron creatine, or Massive Iron gym bag. I lost 110 pounds. How do you judge body fat percentage with a lot of loose skin? Let somebody like me help you. You can send me pictures. Anybody on Team Massive can do body assessments as well. You can send me. Sorry, I found a sprinkled crumb for my birthday cake bar. Just trying to know the dog. Anybody at Team Massive can post a body fat assessment, and I'll comb through it for you. I'll help you. Other than that, I mean, you really need an eyeball on it that can, that's seen enough to know about where you're at. So if you want to DM me a picture, I'd be glad to help. If anybody wants body composition analysis, I'm not going to do like a 20-page report, right? It's not like you're getting a full NSA report. I'm just going to tell you about where you're at, give or take a percentage. And I'll help you comb through the loose skin part. Because loose skin, a lot of times you have it under here, you have it on your lower belly, and a lot of guys think it's fat. And it can mess with your numbers, like it messes with my BMI numbers. It messes with my, what people perceive my body fat percentage should be. And I don't know how much loose skin weight I have. I was 346. But I know when I get lean, it looks to be about 10 pounds if they cut it all off. Maybe 5, I don't know. So, because you could be 30%, you could be 15. Big Albert, when focus is longevity, how would you program for someone who wants to gain 10% muscle in the next decade? Same as I would anybody else, my friend. To gain muscle, you got to train hard. And to train hard, you got to have to use the core principles of the Massive Iron system. So check out my workouts, check out my videos. You're going to have to train hard. There's no different way to train just because you want to train for longevity. Does that make sense? Big LV, hello, coach. Just want to thank you for all you do. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'd be nowhere near where I was in terms of my physique if it wasn't rescued from the fitness dumpster fire by you. I appreciate that. I do. And you know what? One thing I appreciate in this day and age, and this has nothing to do with LV thanking me. This is just a general observation. We live in a very chaotic world, and it is Father's Day weekend, right? Men, I appreciate men who are able to say thank you, who are able to have a degree of humility. And this isn't about me. This isn't about LV thanking me. It's just about men in general. Mental health, the mental health of men. If you're working with someone, like, that means a lot to me to hear that I impacted you. And when you say thank you, like, I put in a lot of hours behind the scenes, and I don't glorify them. I'm not clout chasing. I'm not trying to, make some grand posts on social media about all my grind and how many hours I put in. But behind the scenes, I work a lot of hours and I enjoy what I do. And when somebody takes time to say thank you, it means a lot to me. So with Father's Day coming up, there are a lot of men out there that work hard and don't get a lot of credit. A father, a stepfather, a grandfather, somebody that served in the military, a mentor, a pastor, a leader. There are a lot of people out there giving a lot, men with responsibilities, and they don't often get a thank you. And I would encourage you guys this Father's Day weekend to think of some men in your life that are hard workers, that are grinders, that are just in the tube doing what they need to do, taking care of their responsibilities, and take time to thank them. Because I think the greatest gift you could give a father or another man who is making sacrifices or just shutting up and doing what they need to do to take care of their business is thank you. So LV, I thank you. I thank you for saying that because it does mean a lot. While programs don't really matter, I wish more people knew of your upper posterior. It is so well balanced in terms of volume and intensity. I love it. I don't think I'll ever change. I'm glad you do. And more than any split I came up with, I think the upper posterior or the torso limbs are probably the most important. Probably the two I'm most proud of, because they take the upper lower, which can be problematic in certain ways. And when I say that, I can really upset people because they assume I mean it's useless, and that's not what I mean at all. But I think the upper posterior is one that more of my clients use, and I'm glad the idea came to my brain. What do you think the biggest myth in the fitness industry? Perhaps something from the training side. Well, I think it goes back to my dumpster fire video, that we think we can build, manipulate, create a structure that takes us to happy gains land, when in reality 90% is right here. That's why I say fuck your program. Programs don't matter. A reasonable program matters. Having a reasonable program matters. But when I say fuck your program, it means which reasonable program you use. It doesn't matter. If you're using reasonable dog crap, a reasonable max OT, reasonable upper posterior, reasonable bro split, whatever you do, if you work it hard, it's gonna get results. And why I say fuck your program is because I want people to detect, like, people, if you mention a program online, people tend to elevate, like, that's the greatest program of all time. Well, it's a good program, but no program is really magic above another program. It can be magic for you, there is no doubt. But all the people that want to fight over which program is best are missing the point. Fuck your program. It is not about specific programs. Programs contain about the same set of reps, and there's different tools, but it is how you work the program, and what your passion is, and what your dedication is, and what your consistency is, and what your nutrition is. So the biggest myth is that all this optimization, all this science really matters much. What I have done in the massive iron world, and this goes back to my first book, The Common Pillars of Success. If you have reasonable rep ranges and a reasonable program, if you apply that with good effort and good nutrition, you're going to see good results. I don't care if it's 2 sets per exercise. I don't care if it's high volume. I don't care what program it is. On the flip side, what do you see as a big important thing that is generally overlooked by the lifter who tends to major in the minors? What is big important that is overlooked? 100%, the first answer on top of the board, survey says nutrition. Yeah, I eat okay. I eat healthy. I eat my protein. No. Focused nutrition that allows you to grow. Consistent nutrition that keeps you in a slight calorie surplus. This is so easy to brush off, or for people not to. What bothers me is, I'm going to swear here, so hide the kids. How fucking difficult is it to eat consistently per day? And like, we live in an obesity epidemic. Everybody around us is getting fat. There are some guys that have a hard time eating enough. I'm just going to say this, and I mean this with love. The rest of the world is getting fat. If your biggest struggle is trying to eat a little bit more, that's a good problem to have. And you need to find a way. I don't like excuses. I don't want to hear somebody's excuse. What I want to hear is somebody's solution. Here's what I'm going to do. Because excuses are a mindset of failure. You failed already, right? That's why excuses bother me, because you've already failed. When I see a person who's like, I'm struggling to eat, but that person is equipped for success. I am struggling, but I'm not getting enough sleep, but here is my solution. Here's my proposed method. I'm struggling to eat. Here's my proposed idea. You have a big fat human brain. As far as we know, you could be the smartest creatures in the universe. God help us all, right? If there's no life anywhere, you, my friend, are the ultimate living being. And you can't find a solution. Come on now. Come on now. You need to find, most times, people that can't find excuses, they don't really want it. Let's be real. People that want to walk through the wall to get it. I want people that want to walk through walls, not build walls. Not say there's a wall in front of me. I'll tell you what, okay? This wall over here. Let's say you were locked in. It's a zombie apocalypse. You and your 3 dogs locked in this room. Whatever happened, you couldn't get out of this room. The zombie apocalypse, you're out of food, you're out of water. But beyond that wall, right next to you is all the food and water you could ever want. Give me 5 fucking hours and I'm through that wall. Kicking, screaming, pulling, fingers bleeding. I'm getting through the wall, motherfucker. And you would be too. If not, you're dead. Excuse my language. But that's what I want to see in people. Fight. Get up and fight. Do something. Shut the fuck up. Nutrition, lifting, whatever. What's overlooked is the importance of that attitude. And I know I led off with nutrition. Yeah, nutrition's very overlooked, but that attitude is overlooked as well. You know, we talked last week in my storm rant about living. And part of living is walking through the wall, testing yourself. Doing nothing, being stagnant is death. Death is stagnancy. Death is failure. Not moving, not trying is failure. It's death. It's lifeless. It's quitting. Excuses are quitting. Excuses are failure. Excuses are death. Living is not always knowing if what you're going to do is going to be successful. It might fail. It's being okay with failure, but walking through the fucking wall either way. Show me somebody. I am so inspired when I see people that don't come with their excuses, but they come with, I'm just going to bash my head against the wall until I go through. It's glorious. That's living. That's the essence of life. Confidence, having the ability to not quit, a winner's attitude. I might not have the solutions, but I'm going to bash my head through that wall until I get through, and I'll learn along the way. Trust in yourself, not quitting, not dying, not laying down, not flopping, not tapping out, not being a bitch. Overlooked by the lifter is this quality. And you can boil it down to a set. I'm in the middle of a set many times, lat pull down, seated cable rows, barbell rows. I'm right there facing the wall. And you know what? I'm not going to sit and pretend that I ram my head through the wall every time. You can't have every set like the Super Bowl. You'll wear down. But every set I can is my Super Bowl. Is I have to have a certain minimum number per week where I am not quitting, not giving up, not laying down, not being satisfied with where I'm at, not holding ground, pushing forward, advancing, crushing things. It's like the analogy, the zombie apocalypse. There's food and water on the other side of the wall. What will you do to get it? There are gains on the other side of that wall. And the wall is this mental thing we construct when we want to quit. We got to be safe. You can't survive the zombie apocalypse if you're dead. So we got to be safe and we got to be smart, and that's a given. But on the other side of that wall is glory. What are you going to do to get there safely? James, what was a moment in your life that really taught you the most valuable life lesson? This is a good question and a hard question. There are a lot of moments that taught me really big life lessons. And I could go on about many, many things. Many things. I'm going to teach you guys something about servitude. And I think this is a big life lesson. It's not my most valuable life lesson, but it's a big life lesson. And this goes back to men and mental health and serving and doing the right thing. When I ran, me and my wife ran to raise money for a paralyzed boy, Aiden. We decided we were going to run 10 hours a week for a whole entire year. That's, how many is that? 500 hours? We decided we're going to run like 50 kilometers, we're like 2,500. We decided we're going to run 2,500 kilometers in a year for Aiden. Aiden was a paralyzed boy. This was a charity. It was on TV several times. It was all over the thing, all over the stuff. And the news covered it. Everybody knew, and we did it. We ran an entire year, 10 hours a week, 2,500 kilometers. The mayor knew it. The mayor was there. Everybody in the world knew it. And this is a lesson about servitude. We raised $5,500 in a year. Hardly anything. Everybody in the world knew it. My employer knew it. Friends knew it. And here's the lesson. You could get bitter because more people didn't donate or support your charity. That's a lot of hours for $5,500. He got a van that had a lift kit put on it. They got a new van. They were able to get a new van because of our work. And if I had to do it all over again, I would run an entire year to get that kit a van. But the lesson is, when you do good, do not expect anybody to respond in any specific way. Because if you expect other people to act in a certain way or act like you would respond, you are going to kill yourself mentally. When you do good or you serve or you do an act of kindness, expect nothing back. Because it is tainting that in your self. You do good and you do the right thing. All you fathers and leaders and men, we do the right thing, and that's the reward. We don't expect anybody else to respond in a certain way. I had to fight that. We have to fight that. I had to fight that. My employer at the time gave 0. I had big YouTube friends that covered it that gave 0. The reaction is to be bitter. But it is not our job to force people to care. It is not our job. We cannot control what other people do. We have to do the right thing. Whatever that is for us, whatever direction. You don't have to go run a year for a child. Maybe you're just going to be a good dad, or you're going to do the right thing. Maybe you're a dad in a struggling marriage like I was, and you stayed for your kids. Maybe a little bit too long, to the point where it damaged your mental health like me. There's a lot of value in doing the right thing. You can sleep better at night, and when you die, you have that relief. So, a life lesson: when you do good things, expect nothing back. Free yourself of that bondage, because that's what it is, bondage. Pringle cake. My dumbbell bench is about 80% of my barbell bench, which I think is common, but my dumbbell overhead equals my seated barbell overhead. I think you're just overthinking a little bit, too much math. Our dogs look like they're going to get upset. Pringle, here's the thing. It's really easy to get caught up in analyzing numbers and like over assessing. Is this weak? Is this strong? What's wrong with this? But the only thing I would tell you is, at the end of the road, all that's going to matter is you crushing it, my friend. Just go in there and try to get your +1s and try to nail your nutrition. And the numbers are going to do what the numbers are going to do, right? So I would like to look at things a little bit more closely. But am I weak at barbell? I wouldn't say so. Maybe you are. But the thing I would say is, like, who cares? Go get stronger. Go get your +1s. Marnix. In our country, we tend to eat more whole wheat bread during the day. And I see bodybuilders eat rice and chicken. Well, the thing you got to be careful with processed flour is whole wheat or regular flour. It can be very refined and very devoid of nutrients, and it can be enriched. Now, I'm not trying to be alarmist and tell nobody to eat any form of flour, but you probably could benefit from. Oh, somebody's yawning. Who is yawning? Who is the big yawner? Come here, Snoopy. you could probably benefit from some carb sources a little bit more robust than whole wheat, like bread. So you don't have to meal prep. I don't really meal prep, but I keep a lot of instant rice, instant potatoes around. But I would kind of add a little bit more variety in for your carb sources. Is there really a difference in rep range? No. No, there's no difference. There's you like no one sticks to five. Like, here's the thing, like no one sticks to 5 reps for 8 to 10 years. This is an 8 to 10 year process, strength building, muscle building. No one just sticks to 5 reps for 8 to 10 years. It's a fairy tale construct. It's bullshit. I'm going to do 5 reps for strength and 10 reps for hypertrophy. If all you ever did was 5 reps for on anything and you progressed, you'd be a monster. There's going to be no difference. If all you ever did was 12, you'd be strong AF. It's just nonsense. This is one of the dumbest ideas in all of liftingville. It is. It's one of the most idiotic, stupid constructs. It's just absolute patent bullshit. Now, when you build like 90% of your strength, low rep work can have value, but we're talking lower rep work for strength additions. But that's when you're strong already. But to build strength, you need a muscle base. Almost to a man, we found that out this year. The strongest power lifters are almost the biggest power lifters. In nearly every case, muscle base. Same thing. Eric the Beard of Redness. Is there any point to exercise like jumping jacks? Well, any movement's fine. For general conditioning, I mean, I do general conditioning work, and I do not every day. I do jumping jacks occasionally. I think there are prongs to general health that we need to look at. Do you want to be well-rounded? If not, that's okay. I'm not going to shit in your cornflakes, friendo. Right? You don't have to be well-rounded. You don't have to do this stuff. I don't really care. But I'm saying if you want to be well-rounded, mass, muscle mass, resistance training, strength, functional strength, some form of cardiovascular health, getting in your steps, getting your heart rate elevated, some kind of general conditioning work, kettlebell swings, jumping jacks, burpees, things where your body's moving through space or pushing through space without additional weight. I think that has value. General conditioning and strengthening work. In a busy stage of life expected to last a few months, would you recommend maintaining, cutting, or, well, you can still bulk as long as you can train 2 times a week, a couple sets per exercise, and push hard. You can still do a 2-pound bulk. I mean, what's the worst thing that can do when you're gaining 2 pounds a month? You're going to gain 4 to 6 pounds, and you have to do a 4 to 6 pound cut. Boom, done 2 weeks, right? So I always err on the side of let's train hard and eat. And then once we hit kind of the limit, we can cut a little bit. MCM. I'm a skinny ass dude with a lack of appetite. I'm going to tell you before I even read the rest. I'm not reading the rest. I do not give a shit. I will read the rest here in a second. I don't care if you have a lack of appetite. There's a road you have to walk, and you're either going to walk the road or you don't. I don't give a shit about your excuses. I do not give 8 fucks about your goddamn appetite. Excuse my honesty. I do not give a shit about your appetite. I'll read the rest in a second. So maybe it's going in a different direction. But I do not give a fuck about your appetite. There is a road, and you either need to walk the road or you don't. And if you're putting any excuses in your path, I do not give a shit about your appetite. Half the fucking world is dying from eating too much pizza, and poor little you can't get enough calories in. I do not care. You want to build muscle, you got to walk the road. All right, now let's read the rest. Stressful work days makes it worse. A busy schedule means I don't have time to cook. I struggle to reach any calorie goals. I'm going to say this because I love you. You need to man the fuck up. All I hear is excuse after excuse after excuse. Find a way. Walk through the fucking wall, MCM. I want to hear solutions, not bitch-ass excuses. And I'm saying this because I care. I'm not trying to be demeaning or put you down. But you need to hear it. All you have is bitch-ass excuse after bitch-ass excuse. You think I don't have stressful work days? You think I have time to cook? You think you're the only one? I use instant rice and instant potatoes. I have a hot pot. I literally go downstairs. I turn the water on in the little boiler thing. It's bubbling before I know when I got my instant potatoes in a bowl. It takes 2 seconds. If you don't have 2 minutes to make instant potatoes or instant rice, you got bigger problems. But look, everybody has 10 minutes to slap together something. So I'm saying this because I care. I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear it. You don't have to be Chef Gordon Ramsay with 8 pots and pans and 22 ingredients. That's an excuse. An excuse. If your life is so busy where you have 7 days a week where you don't have 5 minutes to even think about food, you got bigger problems. But MCM, I'm saying this because I care. You're full of shit. I'm saying that with love. Find a way to walk through the wall. I do not give a shit about your appetite. I do not give a shit about your work days. Look, if you want this goal, you have to have the same attitude with yourself. What are your solutions? I can give you solutions. I can give you solutions. At Walmart, they have high protein meals done. Lunch, thank you. 500 calories, 600 calories done. Don't want that? Get a rotisserie chicken. Eat blocks of cheese with deli meat. I don't know. You don't have to cook. There are a million things out there you can eat. You don't have to cook. But I don't care. Look, the bottom line is you're never going to see results until you set all this bullshit aside, my friend. I understand you're under stress. I understand you don't have an appetite. I understand you have a busy schedule. I do. But to be successful, you have to find a way. Eating is not complicated. You can put something, there are plenty of healthy options. And put a damn pizza in the oven, go wash my ass and come back, the pizza's done. Right? You can buy a bunch of hamburgers, put them in the crock pot, some sausage. They're just sitting there all day long, just doing the stuff. You don't have to do a damn thing. Put some kraut in there. Buy some tater salad at the store. All you got to do is come home and slap a big old pile of tater salad on your plate. Pull those sausages and burgers out of the crock pot. Little kraut. Little bacon on top. You're good. I'm going to challenge you, man. Find a way. Daniel White, how often do you do cardio? I don't, with Massive Iron World, I don't call it cardio. I focus on movement, but I know what you're saying. Try to get an hour outside of just general steps each day. Try to get an hour of movement in, something you like. Swimming, running, biking, something beyond just steps that you like to do, hiking, whatever. Try to get in at least an hour a week. That's a good goal. A bench 5, 10, 10, 20. For those of you that don't know, this is a protocol that is very successful for nearly everyone that tries. It's nothing magical, but it really can kind of train your central nervous system a little bit. And you are, most of the guys that run it get 20 to 30 pound bump on their bench just running it for a few months. Basically use the same weight. You start with something you can do about 20 reps with. And you do 4 sets, 5 reps, 10 reps, 10 reps, and 20 reps. Then when you hit 20, you add 5 pounds to the last, or you add 5 pounds to the bar. The first and second set all felt light. Third set was medium, but last 3 reps were hard. Is it meant to feel that way? I hope so. I'm not being facetious, but look, my advice is don't think, who cares? Focus on plus ones. That's all that matters. If the third set was medium and the last 3 reps were hard, it's going to be a little bit different for everybody. Everybody's in a little bit different position. Is it meant to feel? There's that word feel. So I'm your dad. What I'm going to say is refer to my video, Fuck Your Feelings. I'm not in there to worry about how things feel. I'm in there to worry about working hard and progressing over last time. Now, there's a place where an exercise might feel wrong, like the exercise might feel wrong. And then we have to dial in form. But on something like this, you can give 20 men or women or whatever, non-binary individuals, whatever the fuck you are, no disrespect meant, the same protocol. It's going to feel a little bit different for everybody, depending on where they're at. So that's kind of the point I'm making. I'm not trying to be dismissive, but don't worry about that. Worry about progress. Worry about hard work. Troy. I told myself I wasn't going to swear much today. I swore a lot in my video on modern lifting as a dumpster fire, and you kind of sitting in the bathtub regretting it, like, and I don't like swear to be like, it's not something I think about. So, but I'm like, I regret, like, I was sitting around last night going, I got to just stop swearing on YouTube. And here we are, like 20 words later. Hey, boss, do traps react best to heavy loads or a mixture of rep ranges? Think about overall cumulative stress. You want them heavy, but you don't want too much English. Like you don't want the power twitches. When I overload them for 2x10, then mix in a 50 rep set, yeah, that's fine. There's some value in doing the rest pause, higher volume stuff, and then more focused stuff. I do both. I do 2 different types of trap exercises per week. I think it's good to have a mix of stimulus, like the 50 rep rest pause stuff where it's a little bit more powerful. And then the 2 or 3 by 10 to 12 where it's a little bit more controlled, but you're still progressing. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Big John. Boss man, you talked about natural mass monsters. I think Chris Jones should be up there too. Great genetics. I don't know if I saw a picture of me with Chris Jones. Hold on one sec, guys. Let me just see if I can find it. Chris is big, but like the thing is, I'm not being, I'm never trying to frame this as like these guys are small because they're not small. But I got to meet Chris at Real Weights for Real Heroes. Let's see, posted by me. Posted by my friends. I'm just trying to see if I could see Chris Jones in here. I don't see him, but look, I got to meet him at Real Weights for Real Heroes. And like these guys are big, but they don't look, they're like 175, 185, whatever. They don't look like in person. They look big and impressive, but they're not like what you see bodybuilder in your head. You know what I'm saying? Done deal. How's it going? Good to see you, man. Is it okay to mix 2-week bench peaking program in place of a normal bench to try to juice progress? Peaking is done to reduce fatigue, to allow strength to shine. So you have variables. You have your fatigue, you have your strength over here, fatigue over here. When fatigue is high, like if you're pushing or overreaching, it's harder for strength to shine. It's kind of buried, right? So a peaking phase tends to try to reduce the fatigue so strength can kind of shine. Does that make sense? So a peaking program really is a longer term program that allows fatigue to rescind or diminish over time so the strength you built can shine. Does that make sense? Blaine, thank you for all you do. Thank you. I can't say it enough. I appreciate that. Anyone looking for coaching would do well to consult with Steve. Thank you. Come here, guys. What's wrong? Come here. Come here. Come here. Good boy. Worth every penny. Thank you. Blaine is a client of mine. I appreciate that. Team Massive is an awesome community. I appreciate that. And I have one coaching slot left. So, you want to come up, buddy boy? Come on, big boy. Come on, good boy. You're the best friend. I know. You're the buddy. This is my buddy boy. Thank you, Blaine. Anybody that's interested in coaching, I have one slot left. So we're about an hour and a half in. I'm going to keep going while you guys have questions. This is Buddy Boy. This is my dog. He follows me around everywhere. I call him Buddy Boy or Chi-Chi. Hey, Chi-Chi. Because he's a little Chi-Chi. He's a little bug. He's a small little guy, but he likes daddy. That's Bubba. Bubba. There's Bubba with the broken ear, and Snoopy's back there as well. My wife has appointments. She's a seamstress. She's downstairs. The big white thing you see over there, they had a big giant boat pillow, and they took the padding out of the inside, and now they lay down on the inside. Chi-Chi, I don't know if you can see, he shakes a lot. I think when we got him, the breeders hit him because he was very, very shy and very skittish. I don't think they treat him very well, but I treat him well. He's my buddy. And I love little Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi and I are best friends. All right, guys, we are about an hour and a half in. Post up your questions. I'll stay on as long as you have questions. Logan, top 5 metal bands for the gym. What? Slayer, System of a Down, old Metallica. What do I really like to listen to lately? Those are the top 3 for me. And there's such a mix of everything else. Some Exodus, some Creator. Occasional an Anthrax song. I'm not a big Anthrax song or a big. I get a mix of old Maiden, old Black Sabbath, just some of the classics. The Ballbusters. A lot of variety of different bands in my metal mix. Come on, everybody knows bench goes on Monday. I know. I like to work legs on Monday. If not, I never get them done, to be honest with you. Either I lead the week with legs or the end of the week becomes a train wreck. Big Ben, a client of mine. Happy Freitag. I crushed a really good shoulder workout to end the week. If you can love barbell overhead press, you're on a good path because everything else is going to seem easy. Just seen Logan's comments. I recently switched jobs pushing and pulling heavy pallets nighttime. I've been there, man. One job I had during college was tossing oak pallets at the end of a food production line. Corn was coming down. I'd have to toss a pallet. The machine would bundle it up, and I'd just be tossing a pallet every minute. I was a pallet tosser. I don't have problems going to the gym when I get hungry at night. How would you do this without eating before sleeping? Here's the issue I have, DC fan. Why don't you want to eat before you sleep? I would. There's no downside to eating before you sleep. Are you trying to lose weight? I would need to know more. Is Mike Mentzer Yates? Nothing's complete crap. It's a lot of hype. Like, the thing to remember is, like, anything will really work if you work it hard. If you took 100 guys, random guys in the gym that are getting crappy results, and you had them do Yates style training, Mentzer style training, and eat right, they would grow like weeds because it's hard work. Now, is it the best? Is it conventional? No, there's things outside, like you have the big sun, like everything that's more convention, and then like little satellite planets. The Hard Gainer program, Stuart McRobert, he basically focused everyone on progression and refinement. And they saw great results, and everyone was like, Hard Gainer programs are amazing. They got more out of less. They didn't get more out of less because it was less. They got more out of less because what they were doing was shite, was crap, was doo-doo. And they were on a doo-doo program, and they went to less, but it was focused, and they got more. So no program is crap. I mean, I've tried it all in my day. Be careful with failure, because you take some exercise to failure, you're going to kill yourself. I would tell you to use the Massive Iron Way. Push for as many quality sets as possible. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Push for as many quality sets as possible. Stop. I'm okay, guys. Stopping that set when you feel like you're going to fail on the next rep or when form starts to break down. Does that make sense? I'm going to blow my nose. I muted that, but for those of you guys that wanted to hear it. Okay, we're all good. Richard, have a great time at WWE. Thank you. What you going to do when Team Massive runs wild on you? Thank you, sir. Big Sam, what's going on? In terms of overall safety, which are safer for massive trap overload? Rack pulls above the knee. I don't like that as an exercise. Power shrugs. Rack pulls above the knee are just more of a kind of a fun. I hate to say ego lift because it's just a lift, but they don't have a lot of value other than, I mean, if you only do rack pulls above the knee occasionally, it's going to be super heavy, super stressful on your connective tissue and joints. You really have to train yourself into them, and I don't think they're a really good way to spend time. Power shrugs are 100% better. Big Paul from Team Massive. Both arms over 15 inches today. Good. Next stop, 16. Woodulus from Scotland. Watch Snoops doesn't get poked in the eye with the door slinky. That's right. Bubba, you awake? And Bubba finally woke up. You mentioned lat pull downs. I don't feel my back, but I feel forearms. Yeah, how can I fix that? When I do a lat pull down, first thing you want to make sure is that you're not leading with your torso and then your arms. I think about driving my shoulders and then elbows back. And I can feel my back, okay? So you got to get in the habit of shoulders, elbows. That's what I think. Shoulders, elbows, right one after the other. And you got to be able to do that without the bar, with a light weight, and feel it. Strict barbell row. Uh-oh. They're going to be running out. Will it increase better to the deadlift or the pull-up? Pull-ups are hard because I don't think really, if you're struggling on pull-ups, the best thing, in my opinion, is to do more pull-ups. Overall body strength doesn't hurt, but it's never really helped my pull-up. A barbell row, let me put it to you like this. And this is kind of the freaky D, does overhead press impact your bench press? If someone has like I just did Pendley rows for 305 by 5. That's probably the most I've done on them in 5 years. Not that I just haven't trained them heavy. If someone has a 305 by 5 Pendley row, where is their deadlift probably going to be? You think it's going to be 275? Right? So it's not necessarily that the Pendley row is increasing the deadlift, but that if somebody has a 305 Pendley row, come on, guys, what's wrong? They probably have everything else strong. Does that make sense? So the deadlift's going to be stronger. I can't see having a 305 by 5 Pendley row and the deadlift being under 475 or maybe 500. So there's a synergy. That's the best way to put it. But look, you have to think of this as the bigger picture. If you want a big deadlift, train everything hard. Get the body strong, because I got to a 405 by 5 Pendley row. And if you can do a 405 by 5 Pendley row, your deadlift's going to be 600 pounds. Not because a Pendley row is necessarily bringing up your deadlift, but because you're strong, right? Whole body strong. Troy, lateral raise, is it best to start with your hands to your side or in front? I kind of have hands turned just a little bit. And let me see if I can find the video. Hold on, guys. I was just showing this to a client today. It'll only take me a second to find. I'm going to pull it up in the studio. We're going to make sure we don't play any ads to tick off YouTube. Okay. Let me get the URL. Copy URL. Paste URL. Okay, detach URL, that's URL. We're just getting her prepped. I think we got her. Get over there. Okay. So where are we at? Okay, that's share screen. Present share screen. Auto perform the side lateral raise. All right, so I have kind of my hands turned just slightly. I lean forward a little bit. I breathe, I brace, and I just use a little bit of power to get them started. All right, the side lateral raise. Let's talk about this lift. It's not complicated, but it's a lift that is often messed up. Now, a lot of times you'll see guys standing straight upright. Their head is straight over their hips, is straight over their feet, and they keep their arms really straight and stiff, and they almost flap like a bird. You don't want to do that. I try to lean my torso forward just a little bit. I have a very natural stance, sometimes a very narrow stance. I find a more narrow stance than my deadlift stance actually feels better to me. And from there, you want to use your shoulders and elbows at the same time to drive the weight up. Shoulders and elbows driving the weight up. And you can have your arms slightly bent and natural. But when you lift it, you don't want to lift it directly out to the side. You want to lift the dumbbells to the side, but to a little bit in front of the shoulders. All right. The side lift, that helped a little bit. Slide forward lean, yeah. I find just anything that puts you in a better leverage position to generate force. Power is not the enemy. We want to really target our shoulders. So as long as we're strict, we're good to go. Hey, Carnivore Barbell. Carnivore. Member of the month at Team Massive last month, one of them. Nikos. What should I do when someone in the gym is complaining that I'm resting too long between sets and says I'm wasting time and becomes aggressive and keeps telling me to hurry up? Punch him in the face. Humor. It's just humor. Well, the first thing I would do is a little self-reflection. Am I being unreasonable with my programming? Am I doing like a 10 by 10 with 4-minute rest in between sets? Snoop, what are you chewing? Snoopy. You probably got. What are you chewing? Do you have the donger from the thinger? What are you chewing? All right, sorry. I would do a little self-reflection. Are you doing anything unreasonable? Are you hogging a piece of equipment for a long period of time? If so, you probably need to change your program to be a little bit more commercial gym friendly. If you're being reasonable, then what I would do is go to the front desk. I would ask them to, number one, you're not required to respond to anybody. So being rude is, that's your choice. Being quiet's your choice. You have to be willing to accept the consequences. Sometimes if you're quiet, it just escalates the angry person. It's a situation by situation. Each case is going to be different. But me, the first thing I would do is self-reflection. Am I taking too long? If I am, I'd move along. If not, I would just say politely, I'm going to be done after the set. And if they continue to bother me, I'd just go to the front desk. If someone's irritated, fine, but they don't get to harass you, right? They don't get to harass you. So when did the deload become such a common practice? I really think with Wendler's 531. I'm not sure where Wendler's is right now, so don't do a witch hunt. But I will tell you, originally it was every 4th week deload. And before that, I don't really remember anybody worrying about deloads. And then during that time, people started to worry about deloads. So that's really when I think it started to become part of the psyche of the modern lifter. Deloading, I've mentioned this many times. We live in the real world, so deloading isn't bad. But if you look at the course of a year, there's going to be times you need to take off for vacation, for when you're sick, for when life events come up. You need to move, your birthday. There are times that naturally create natural deloads or breaks from the gym, and we can program these in. If you feel beat up, I don't arbitrarily say I'm going to take a week off. I take a day or two until I feel better. I don't arbitrarily at the beginning of a cycle say I'm going to take a week off every 4 months. You can. There's nothing wrong with that. But deloading like every 4th week or whatever for the average lifter is an epic waste of time. If you were going to deload every 4th week, you're taking 13 weeks out of the year off, or every 25% of your training. What's the point in that if you feel good? Sebastian, been a while. Welcome back. Ran 24 miles this week. 1 mile repeats 4 days a week. If you want to improve your time, you don't go out and try to set PRs every time. You try to do surging once a week to bring up the floor speed. A surge or a tempo run is you go out 5 to 10 minutes, conversational pace, where you can hold a conversation. And then the speed below a sprint, something you can sustain for 45 seconds to a minute. You run at that pace for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and then you rest 2 to 3 minutes. Resting means running back at conversational pace. Then you surge again, a speed below sprint for 60 to 120 seconds, and you rest for 2 to 3 minutes. Again, resting is at conversational pace. You repeat that whole thing about 5 times. Those surgings are going to help bring up your floor speed on your running, not trying to go out every time and set PRs. 80-20 running. 80% of your running has to be at just conversational pace to build up your base. And then about 20% you should be doing surging type of running. Does that make sense? Troy, I use your bulldozer sets, block sets, and 1.5 rep sets. They're awesome. What other intensity torture techniques do you have up your sleeve? Cluster is like doing six sets of 6, 6 of 8, 8 of 8, 6 of 10 with 60 seconds of rest between. You can do 3 exercises in cluster format where you rest 60 seconds. Like, let's say you want to burn out your triceps, but still focus on progressive overload. You could pick 3 exercises. Let's say you have the close grip bench. Let's say you have the dumbbell kickback, because we're going to try to use 3 exercises here we can do at the same station, right? Without hogging everything in the gym. So you could do close grip bench, you could do skull crushers, and you could do dumbbell kickbacks or single arm dumbbell overhead extension. You could do all that at a station. So you could do a set of close grip, wait 30 seconds, do a set of skulls, wait 30 seconds, do a set of kickbacks, wait 30 seconds, do a set of close grips, etc. So you could kind of do that rest pause. I hate to say giant set, but it's kind of that giant set format. Run the rack, run the stack is one of my favorites. I do this on leg extensions a lot. Or I'll start with a moderate weight. I don't overthink it. Something relatively light. And I'll do like 8 to 10 reps, like 50, and then I'll do 60 for 8 to 10, and I'll work up until I can't do 10, and then I'll work back down until I'm just sick of working that exercise. I like to do that on dumbbell curls as well, because straight sets bores the crap out of me. And high rep dumbbell curl sets bore the crap out of me as well. So, like on dumbbell curls, if you have a gym where you can do this, you can do like 20s for 6, 25s for 6, 30s for 6, 35s for 6. And then once you reach your peak and you can't do, say, 50s for 6, then you drop the weight down a little bit and start doing max rep sets. You can do run the stack, run the rack, that sort of thing. Sandro, on what weight do you recommend to do 10-pound cuts and bulks if you're a 5'10"? Well, it really depends on where you start. I'd like to see you doing some longer extended bulks without, getting fat. So, Sandra, I'd need to know more information. Where you start is very, very important. The fact that you do this for free is absolutely insane. Thank you, sir. Can you imagine how you'd have felt if you did this kind of thing when you started out? Well, back in the day when I had muscleandbrawn.com, I don't own it now. We had a forum, and I did 100,000 forum posts on there. So this is always, I love lifting. I'm not trying to elevate myself into anything. I don't want to do that. It's really easy to fall into that trap. I just like what I'm doing. And I appreciate everybody who supports me. But I'm going to do this until I die. I'm dedicated. And each year I feel like I'm getting better and better at it because I put myself in the fire every week. I don't know what questions are coming. And I refine that with working with people in the real world, Special Olympians, teens, coaching clients, you guys. So everything I say has to pass the smell test. It has to pass the gym test, right? Big Sam. Do you ever think the idea of testosterone going down and things being over for you when you hit your 30s? Yeah, it is absolute bull. There are women on Team Massive that has testosterone levels lower than any male will ever have. And they have muscle. My daughter has testosterone levels lower than you'll ever have. And she's a mass monster. All I have to say is the low testosterone, I can't build muscle crew. Right. Get over it. I mean, come on. What do you think the best age is to begin deadlifts? I wouldn't do it with 11-year-olds. Trap bar, just the bar. This is a this is a lift they really need to take time with. You do not want to mess up their lower back, mess with their spine. What somebody wants to do and what they can do are two different things. I'm not against younger lifters using a trap bar, but give it time. I made my 13-year-old daughter do a year of goblet squats before she put a bar on her back. Get a time to build up that neuromuscular adaptation, coordination. You'll know when they're ready, but just don't do the PR thing. Do like with teens, more likely to do like 3 sets of 5. You don't want to do a lot of high volume sets because something is going to break down. Their lower back, their cardiovascular, their form is going to break down. They're highly inconsistent. So you want to stay at a lower rep range, a little bit safer. Not heavy weight, lower rep range, just a lower rep range that's a little bit more manageable. How many weeks do you run it back with a weight if you aren't progressing? I never take stuff back in weight. There's no point in taking a step back in weight. What does that accomplish? Re-rack, deload, unload, reload. It's a game of futility. You keep fighting. It comes. If not, your diet sucks. If not, your standards suck. Your expectations suck. Ryan from Scotland. I'm an emergency service worker who does a mix of day shifts and night shifts. I can work out 4 days consistently. What split is best? What I would do, just a suggestion, my friend. So there's two things you can do: an upper posterior or upper posterior or upper posterior with a junk day. So if you just do the upper posterior, you're going to have 4 workouts: A, B, C, and D. Posterior A, posterior B, upper B. The 4 days in a row you have to work out, I would work out 3 days. You can start with upper or posterior A, upper A, take a rest, posterior B, and then next week you start with upper B, posterior A, rest, etc. So you're getting 3 workouts in a week. You're rotating between those 4 workouts, and you're getting in a lot of good work. You could also do a junk day on your 4th day as a staple. So you could rotate the upper posterior on the first 3 days, upper A, posterior A, upper B, junk. And then the next week, posterior B, upper A, posterior A, junk. So you could always have the junk day on the last day of the week, and you could do some arm work and then keep the upper and posterior more for compounds, chest, shoulders, back, legs, that sort of thing. Does that make sense? Probably not, but if I confuse you, just hit me up. What are your thoughts on training chest, shoulders together? I used to do it. You probably have to move triceps to somewhere else, but you can do it. Have fun at the WWE. Don't get in the ring, man. Don't tempt me with a good time. That would be fun. What are your absolute favorite bench variations? Dumbbell. Incline. I'm over it. Close grip. I like the guillotine press. The pin press. What ingredient should we look for when choosing a pre-workout? Well, beta alanine's useless, except you want some placebo tingles. Somebody just broke in. Creatine's useless because creatine is something you need to take every day. So you're going to have stimulants in.
Sorry, I'll take them now.
That's all right. Just, you got more appointments?
At 3 o'clock.
But Aberrant, I'm no expert. You know, I've been out of the loop for 4 years, so I apologize. Harut, happy Friday. What's going on?
Have they said hello?
What? Yeah, Buddy Boy's here.
He has said hello. Oh, he's all tired.
Snoopy! Here's Snoopy Doo.
Big old Bubsy. Oh! Here's the big old original Bubba.
Snoopy Doo.
Who wants to come and meet the big
Snoopy just wants to lick people all day long.
Snoopy's like Casanova.
Snoopy just likes to lick.
He's a lover boy.
Snoopy!
He will woo all the lady wieners. He's too pretty. He's like the handsome one.
Bubba, what are you doing to my ear?
Bubba's like the original Yoda.
Bubba's violating my ear.
Bubba's like the Yoda. He's like Yoda. He's a thinker boy. He's a old sausage.
Okay, I gotta get back.
Yodi.
Enough dog attacks.
Oh my god, I haven't seen her later.
I think my nasal passages are clean.
Oh my god.
Okay.
This one doesn't.
Everybody on my nose.
Attacking with all the lickles.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna take the boy.
All right, have fun. Sorry for that distraction. Life with dogs.
Okay, ready?
Hey, just stay there a minute. I wanna nothing.
What, hear the dogs?
No, just turn around. I just want to look for a minute.
My glute kickbacks are working.
I was just checking your glute activation.
I was concentrating. I opened a door.
Yeah. I was just checking your glute activation to make sure your program was working.
Oh my goodness.
All right, I would love to see more videos. Yeah, we're gonna do that soon. As soon as I get my home gym.
I think we're calm now.
Okay. I'm trying to avoid making my elbow tendonitis worse. You got to get some VersaGrip Pros, 100%, and give it time. That's all you can do. You got to get the VersaGrip. So, Fat Chicken and Barn, how's it going? Client of mine, welcome to the party. Paul, cutting, you don't really want to power muscle bulldozer. Anything with lower rep sets like the power sets are probably, they're okay on a cut, but you want to adjust the intensity. You don't really want to do above 82.5% of your 1 rep max on a cut, just to be safe. If you don't have a lot of energy and drop a set off exercises, how do you deal with progression indicators? Last set. I just do last set max reps. And if you come back the next week and do 3 sets and it suffers, just re-rack, reload. Just be fluid and adapt on the fly. Does that make sense? So if you did 2 sets and the last set was 12 and you moved up in weight, and then the next week you couldn't do 12 or dropped to 7, that's okay. I tend to have 3 solid weeks of training and then falling off for 2 because of life. Focus on what you can control. Nail your nutrition. Don't worry about the down weeks. Attack the up weeks and just keep driving on, my friend. Ever met Seth? Have I met him? We had some, when we did the real weights for Real Heroes, there were so many guys in town. You had Casey, the one-legged wonder, whatever his name is. I don't mean any disrespect. Seth. Hold on a minute. I'm just searching. I forgot Casey's nickname. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. Posts. I swore I was at a meeting with Seth once, but I can't remember, man. It was like one of those things where everybody was in town. Things just got out of control. So I can't remember. What is the worst muscle you see lifters obsessing over? Neck. Dudes be like, I'm gonna add some neck training in and get a big neck. You know, it's going to take you like 8-10 years to get a big neck with your neck training. And then by then you'd have a big neck anyway, just from the rest of your training. I can't really, nobody wants to listen on that point. So concerning genetic potential, have you noticed if height makes it, height can make certain lifts harder, but a lot of tall people don't generally, they have longer muscle bellies. I don't know. Tall people lift, but you don't see a lot of big, tall guys at max potential. You see them up to 6'2", 6'3", right? But how tall are we, talking? Tough love and hard truths. I love you guys, and I'll always give you the tough, hard reality. All right. Hello, Steve. I'm a cyclist and have well-developed legs, so I don't train them. I want to put in some muscle on my chest and back. Can I progress effectively in upper body? Yeah, you don't need to do lower body work to progress in upper. I'm not gonna judge your goals, but no, not doing leg work won't impede your ability to do upper body building. Big hairy ugly dude, I'm going back to school, massage therapy, and I'm still holding down a full-time job. Any recommendations for 2 to 3 day a week program? Well, I can still dig deep. 3 days is kind of the thing. Upper posterior is your thing. Even if you can just cycle between the upper posterior 2 days a week, some days, and then 3 days a week the next, you're going to be fine. I can relate to lack of appetite-o. I need to force feed myself every day. That's something you might need to do to reach the land of glory. 3 big spoons of peanut butter, a cup of oats, and whole milk. You can add heavy cream in your protein shakes as well. That'll give you some calories. Have you ever failed on squats? I failed like 3 reps in 38 years. I do not push them. One was just a half squat at my last meet when I was very, very sick from type 2 diabetes. I just couldn't get in the hole. And then I failed a squat training with Alan Roberts, and then one other squat before that. Can vouch for the shrug 5x5s. Works better than power shrugs. Great tool. Bob, you mentioned you've done marathons. How much calories and protein a day were you consuming? It's not really about calories. It's really easy to maintain muscle mass. Ignore cortisol. I'm not being critical, Bob, but you get entered in the panic zone a little bit. Maintaining muscle mass is super easy. Doesn't really require anything special. As long as all you really need to do is keep training. I don't want to say muscle mass. And the voice over his shoulder is like, he's taking megaroids. Yeah, right. I have megaroids. That's why I haven't lost muscle mass. No. Yari, thumbs up. Is overhead pressing overrated? No. They don't feel right in my shoulders. Well, you might be doing technique wrong. I'd have to take a look. I'd like to see how you're doing them, but they're definitely not overrated. If anything, they're underrated. Not training related, but I get an aggressive stare from one or two of the smaller guys and want to go up to them and ask what they want. Ignore them. Ignore them. Don't travel down a road, because don't open the gate to a road that you can't close. Ignore them. Not worth it. Don't let your ego get in the way. Don't let frustration get in the way. Just let it go. I keep getting aggressive stares from 2 of them. I know it annoys you. But you need to get over it. Honestly, I just say that because I care. You just need to move on. All right, guys, we got 6 questions left. If you have any questions, get them in now. Last call. We're probably going to be on another 10 minutes. Do you recommend the 10-minute rest pause deadlift every week? Well, you can do it every other week. If you like it, you can do it every week. Whatever you prefer. But you don't have to do it every week. You can do it every other week. I support Southend and Southampton. They remind me of 2 male Alsatian dogs. Same difference. I wasn't getting enough training into my work schedule, so I get up at the ass crack of dawn to work out. If I can do that while having a toddler, you can too. Amen. Finding a way. It's not easy, but there's no other alternatives. Talking about grip strength, do people with grip strength live longer because they have strong hands or because they are strong overall and they are active? I don't know. Is there some study that says people with greater grip strength live longer? If so, it's probably because they're more physically active. Do water and electricity mix well? I don't want you to find out. Ever encounter a lifter with good numbers that never use? Tendonitis, elbow tendonitis is outside of lower back stuff from squats and deads. Elbow tendonitis is by far and away the most common issue I see, and I would never. You're gonna play that card. It'll bite you, unless you're a genetic freak and a miracle of nature. Close grips on torso or limbs day. I consider them to be a tricep-centric exercise, so I like to put them on limb day. All right, guys, that's it. Don't go anywhere. We're not done yet. I appreciate you guys joining in. Please, 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 if you have any questions that didn't get on live, you can head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman. Slide into my DM. I have a Q&A over there right now. Please follow me on Instagram at Ben the Barman. Please go over to my website, Super Living Today. Sign up for coaching right now. Sign up. I got 1 slot left. Get over there and fill it out. Team Massive Iron. Team Massive Iron, only $4.99 a month or a one-time fee. Please join. Please join. And I think I got a couple more comments while I was doing my spiel. You're the man. Thank you. And whoops. And thanks, Steve. Thank you, guys. I appreciate all you guys. As always, I can't thank you enough for your support. I got some good videos coming this week. I'm going to try to do a video about Bromley and the touch and go deadlift. So look forward to that one. That might be a little bit spicy. All right, guys. Have a great weekend.
It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.